Hey, this is Lola, but you can call me Lola if you like.
Hi, this is Velisa, and you can call me Vels if you want. And this is the Everybody Hates HR podcast.
Time is limited today, so let's get into it.
Okay. So, obviously, we've spoken about this a few times in terms of news, but more and more companies are doing RTO, return to office, 5 days a week. So we've got, obviously we knew about the likes of Amazon and Tesla, but now we have JP Morgan joining them. We have Goldman Sachs joining them. We have AT&T joining them. We have Bank of America joining them. We have a lot.
Lloyd's Bank.
There's a lot of companies now saying.
The banks, like, what happened? It's like they all just, you know what it is? Once you get one, then like those sorts of industries, it's like, where are you going to go if we're all doing it? Like, you're a banker. If all the banks return, you have no incentive to leave. So once they all start doing it, it's kind of screwed because where are you going to go?
Yeah. I just think
5 days a week, I just
think it's very, I don't want to say stupid, but it just feels very inconsiderate and very tone deaf to just say to people, you've got a couple of months and then you have to return to the office 5 days a week. How can you decide to do that when for the past 5 years people haven't been going into the office 5 days a week? And out of those 5 years, there was 2 solid years where, 18 months to 2 years where people were not going in at all. And they got to prioritize, they got to see what life is like when they have flexibility. What they put first and what they put last has changed. It's how they work has changed. And now you just want to disrupt all of that for what?
Productivity.
It can't just be productivity.
I mean, I don't know because I don't necessarily agree with it. But the issue is, obviously, it's been 5 years now. Or let's say it's been like 3.5 years since really most companies started going back, or 4 years or whatever. The timeline is not even the problem. If they had started saying, okay, the signals in 2022, hey,
phased
we're
return,
back, blah,
yeah.
blah. I said this before, it would have been really different. But it's just the suddenness of it. It's like, okay, back to work in 2 months or back to work next week or whatever. And I don't know if I'm making this up, but I believe that I saw that Lloyd's Bank were basically telling people if they don't come in, they're going to forfeit their bonus.
Which is crazy.
I feel like I saw that somewhere. I believe I saw Lloyd's Bank saying that if people don't come in, they're going to lose their bonus. Let me see.
That's actually complete and utter madness.
So I think they're basically saying that they can.
Like, do you like your people?
Here it goes. A leading British bank has escalated its push, obviously Lloyd's, for in-office work, warning employees that their bonus could be impacted if they don't meet the minimum office attendance requirements. I don't think it's... For them, Lloyd's Bank is set to cut bonuses for senior staff who fail to comply with the new office attendance policy requiring them to work in the office at least twice a week, which is not bad.
Yeah.
And it's going to factor into 20% of the workforce, of their calculations. It will affect 20% of the population, so about 12,000 employees. So if they don't make the minimum standards, then their bonus can be cut. For them, I actually don't think it's too bad because it's only 2 days a week.
Yeah, 2 days is fine. It's not 5.
Yeah,
5 is too much.
5 is crazy.
It's too much.
But is it the American? Which banks did you say actually?
Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan.
Yeah, so maybe it's the American banks.
But they're not going to just let their US counterparts.
And you were speaking to me about another American bank, which is 5 days a week earlier, actually.
Yeah, but that's here.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's an American bank. So, it's like American policies. And maybe this is like a double-edged sword, because remember people were like, work for American companies, they're great, they pay more. Because if like the compensation is more aligned to what they would want to do in the US. Mm-hmm. So if the compensation is aligned, maybe more of the terms and conditions have to be aligned.
That's so mad though. 5 days is too much.
There's literally no days at home unless something comes up, basically.
Yeah, and it's like
I genuinely don't think I could do that. Like I do. So like I have my own office now, right? So I'm in I pretty much am in an office. So I spend 2 days with my clients, 1 to 2 days with my clients, and I spend really the remaining 3 days in the office because I have someone that I work with, or I spend 1 day at home and 4 days in the office. But my office is literally down the road from me, so it's different. So it's not like I couldn't travel for an office.
Like I did 3 days in the office week before last. I thought I was so tired. I was shattered, like 3 days straight.
And part of it is like the mental, and I also think it's different. Even though our company office is very close to me, I still think it's different because while I'm in the office, I don't have that obviously I own the company and I don't have that pretense. Like I don't have to be on. Like I can just be at my desk doing my work and I'm not like, I don't have to be switched on. If someone calls me, I switch on. The person in my team, I don't feel like, obviously I'm on for them, but it's a very casual relationship that we have. So that's fine. Whereas when you're in the office, you're like literally switched on.
Yeah, and it's like your day doesn't start when you get to the office. Like the days that I go into the office, I have to get my son ready, get ready, take him to nursery, then go to the office, then come back. If I haven't cooked, I have to now cook. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just, and you want me to go 5 days a week? When will I have time to sort out my life?
You know, when I was years ago, I remember I used to walk past the Goldman Sachs building to go to work. They were next door to us. And I feel like people used to take their kids in there because I feel like they had a nursery.
They do, yeah.
I don't know if they
I don't know if they still have it, but they did, yeah.
And I feel like if we're doing 5 days a week in the office, we have to be bringing the nurseries.
Yeah.
We have to be bringing the nurseries.
But then school, when my child goes to primary school, what do I do then?
You have to make an open primary school. Then they just become like cults, these workplaces.
So
you know what I mean?
There's this, oh gosh, I want to get the term right. But basically, because people are being asked to come, I know what it's called. Well, let me just double check. But because people are being asked to come into the office 5 days a week, there's a new trend that started called coffee badging.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, coffee badging is where you do come in 5 days a week, but you still kind of flex it to your schedule. So you'll come in, you'll have chit chats with people, make sure you're visible, make sure people see you around. But you might do that until like 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. and then you leave the office.
Yeah.
So you basically don't do your 9 to 5 because they're saying, come in 5 days a week, but that doesn't mean I have to be there 9 to 5. I might want to come in 9 to 2 and then go home and blah blah.
Amazon has actually put out a memo which said it was sometime last year that they wanted to stop people from coffee badging because they said, okay, you have to come to the office this many days a week, and they realized that people were coffee badging because they were looking at the swipe in and swipe in times, swipe in and swipe out times of when people were in the office, and they were like, a lot of people were just coffee badging. And I met a girl actually who works at Amazon in the US, and she said she was coffee badging. She said everyone does it.
It makes sense though.
Yeah.
If you're going to get me in 5 days a week, I'm going to take back my time.
2 to 3, like the thing is, if you did that 5 days a week, obviously, hopefully you don't coffee badge, but you'll just be less productive because
you have to go home,
picking up, dropping off, like it just makes you less productive. If you did that like once a week or twice a week when you're actually in the office, it'll be fine. But if you were to if they wanted you to work in the office 5 days a week and you would just be so unproductive.
And this is why they should do a lot of, get people to come in 5 days a week.
And you'd have to do a lot of stuff outside of working hours, which is again not ideal for anybody. So
yeah, but I get why coffee badging is a thing.
I get why it's a thing as well, but it's I wish we could live in a world where everyone could be trusted to be autonomous, but they can't.
No, they can't.
And I still see things to this day online or whatever, which makes me feel like this is why people can't work from home. Like I still see it. This is why people can't work from home, because they genuinely can't be, like, a lot of people can't be trusted. Like a lot of people can, but when you're a company, if you are dealing with some productivity challenges, and obviously you're comparing it to the heyday of what was pre-2020 or even, I don't know, because that's the only real day-to-day they have now. Yeah. There's so many other things that have changed since then which would impact productivity or impact how employees work. But they're just thinking, okay, we need to make people more productive. And even if they know it's only 20% of the workforce that's doing it,
will impact everyone.
Can't identify those 20%, so you just have to apply a broad brush approach.
Yeah. And that's why I feel like there's more more internal politics as well, because you have these broad policies like come in 3 days a week, but then the subcultures amongst the different teams means that some managers are more lenient than others. Some are more like, no, you're gonna, like, I feel like HR get it the most. So when a CEO announces that you have to come in 3 days a week, some of the first people that get it is the people teams, because we're the ones that have to set the examples. So then you'll get the people team coming in 3 days a week, but then, for example, the marketing team, they still might be coming in 2 days a week because the manager doesn't care like that. And it's like, I trust my team and I only have to watch my team. So it's
I don't care about how it contributes to them.
I feel like that causes like internal politics as well. Like one below the announcements being made, oh, but they're not doing that. I see them coming in at this time.
All of the senior leadership on board.
Yeah, you do.
If you've got one, like I had it somewhere where the head of engineering was just like the director of engineering. He wasn't interested in it. He's like, my engineers, they can work. They come in, we collaborate. Some of them, they need silence to work, so they work at home. And he just wasn't on board with it. So when the rest of the company is doing X, Y, and Z, and we're all like everyone's sitting around seeing that the engineering team is not in when everybody else is in, it does create unnecessary politics.
Yeah. That was always annoying. Like, oh, HR, you have to set the example. It's like,
we do though.
We do, but how about me setting an example of I am productive, I own my work schedule, it works for me.
That's a good example to set, but it's not in line with what the business wants.
I don't care. I actually don't care.
It's not in line with what the business wants. Sometimes you have to learn how to toe the party line. And I would still say that if people don't like it, they should just find the job that is most closely aligned to you. You might not get every single thing that you want, but it will, find the job that you can tolerate as a minimum. I have a case I want to talk to you about. Thought it was interesting. I think the way like judges and tribunals were going last year, I was like, it was all very like they've been doing some learning. And I think this case is similar, but not exactly the same as that. So basically, it's a case about a lady who worked in a brewery, a company that specializes in specialty whiskies or something. Only 5 people in the team. And in 2022, she was facing dismissal. I can't remember for what reason, but she was in a dismissal meeting. And in a dismissal meeting, she had said that, okay, a year ago when I first joined, I was subject to like unwanted sexual harassment, basically, or unwanted sexual conduct. And she basically said that her manager that she had worked with had kissed her intimately twice on the neck. So there was a couple of times after shift where he had walked her home because she was local. And she said on those 2 occasions, close to when she started, he had kissed her intimately on her neck, and it made her really uncomfortable, and she didn't want him to and stuff like that. But she hadn't said anything about it until she was being dismissed in that meeting a year later. That's not to say it didn't happen, but those of you who watch SVU will know, like, you know, it's always helpful if you have an outcry witness, but she didn't tell anybody about it, right? So when she got dismissed, and she ended up taking them to tribunal for sexual harassment, discrimination, and it wasn't upheld. The judge basically said that he didn't basically believe her. The manager, I think it's a manager or a more senior colleague anyway, he had said he didn't do that at all, that he literally didn't touch her, but he did, like, basically, they said an air kiss, and I guess it's like a blowing a kiss, like, he had said bye, give her a hug, and then blown a kiss to her. I think
I actually saw this case.
Yeah, he had blown a kiss to her, but he said he actually didn't mean it to be a sexual advance, like, he just was just doing it or whatever. And they said either way, if it was just him blowing a kiss, it wouldn't rise to the level of, it doesn't meet the level of sexual harassment. And they said that her story was inconsistent, and it wasn't credible.
Oh.
So I thought that was quite interesting. So they said she had lots of inaccuracies. She's told the story once one way, told it differently another way. Some of the details she couldn't recall, some of the details then she could recall them, and all of this other kind of stuff. And they said that and again, I find it really weird because they're making a judgment about what kind of person he is, or, you know, they don't know him. So they might think, oh, they said he seemed very sincere. His account was more like obviously coherent, and he just basically seemed like he wasn't lying. But I just think that's really interesting because he could just be a very good liar.
Yeah,
like,
and she might just be nervous.
Yeah, she might be nervous, and that's why. But they said, her story didn't make sense. There was gaps in it. There was inconsistencies, things that had changed. So,
but okay, fair. But I'm assuming that he admitted well, you said it, like the air kiss.
They said that wasn't enough to be harassment.
But is it appropriate?
It might not be appropriate, but it happened on 2 occasions. And
that's not inappropriate for it to happen.
I'm not saying
twice.
it's not appropriate, but or does it rise to the level of sexual harassment?
I think so, because he's
and also
her manager. Mm-hmm. He's a man. It's unwanted.
Well,
it's an air kiss. Yeah, the word is do you know what I mean?
The thing is, all of that stuff. It's so SVU. It's a bit he said, she said, isn't it? And they were like, and what I didn't like that they said was that the fact that she had remained friends with this person. It happens all the time. Exactly. If you've been sexually assaulted or sexually harassed, and you might feel the need to be nice to that person because you feel the need to be nice. And she said she did it because she didn't want it to have implications for her job. But they just said that her story was inconsistent and basically they didn't believe it. And I was like, it's weird that judges are like, again, they surprise me because not that I expect them to just rule in her favor, but I'm surprised to say like a judge is making, I know they have to make judgment, but basically deciding who's credible and who's not. You don't know her. On a normal day, that's how she could sound. On a normal day, he can sound really different. And if you had known how they sounded on a normal day, maybe you would be more likely to know who was telling the truth and who wasn't. But these are people that you don't know. Yeah. You're literally meeting someone face to face, making a judgment about what kind of person they are. And they'll just like, he seems sincere in his words. And I was just like, what? You don't know him. And I don't even think it was the wrong thing because apparently her story was very inconsistent. And she didn't raise it until she was being dismissed.
Of course.
So in theory, it was out of time, but I don't know how she managed to get it through. Maybe she said that it was linked to the dismissal or something like that.
Fair, but I get it in terms of it going to court. Maybe it could have been dealt with without that, but I still think it being an air kiss is twice is inappropriate. Like if that was dealt with internally in the company, if they had an okay HR person, maybe he would have got like a first written warning or something.
Yeah, but I also think among different groups of people is like.
No, I'm sorry. If my manager air kissed me twice, I'm gonna be like, "What the actual hell? No. What is I'm gonna tell my husband. I'm gonna be like,
"Oh, she said that. She said that actually. She said that she told her partner at the time.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, but she obviously didn't have any evidence that the conversation took place or anything like that. But she said she did tell her partner.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. You'd have to.
But like,
you'd have to.
Well, what needs to be the dynamics for you to think that an air kiss is like?
But I will say that I've got like over the years I've met lots of different kinds of people, and I do think that some of the groups that I've met, they're just more free. Like for instance, guys that text each other, are you going to be a football kiss?
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh.
But do you know what I mean? Like I'm sure your husband doesn't do that, but this is different. Like people are different, and some people are just a bit more like informal. So I'm not saying it's appropriate. I would never do it, but I'm saying, is that in itself does that amount to the level of harassment?
Do you know what it is?
Twice it happened.
I think it's the context of him walking
and
her
also,
home.
how do you know it's not unwanted? But again, happy. And I don't want to be like, honestly, it's giving SVU obviously, but she's obviously comfortable with him walking her home, so that is not an issue in itself. And obviously, they worked in a whiskey case. I think it might have been a bar, so it might have been late. And do you know what I mean? That could seem like, okay, I'm being nice, I'm walking my colleague home, and it's a bit about how would I know. How would he know?
Benson over here. How would he know? I'm going to fight for what's right.
Listen, anyone who wants the SVU again, I like SVU. The problem with Olivia is that she thinks everybody's a victim.
She does. But I think that's the right. That's the right.
It is the right attitude. But even when confronted with the facts, which are very contrary, like even when provided with evidence, everybody is a victim. So if something happened to you one day, you could go stick somebody up in the bank and she'll be like, yeah, but she was a victim.
Yeah, like I don't want to go too left because we're going to run out of time. But there was an episode where the victim's rape kit was used as evidence. Yeah, so they were like, just throw out that case. Do you know what I mean? We shouldn't be using her DNA for that stuff.
Yeah, but she thinks everyone's a victim. And I love her so much. Actually really genuinely align with her most of the time, but I do think that like a judge, I remember this is not a criminal proceeding in it, like a judge needs to make a decision about what's credible and what's not. I don't think the fact that she continued to like be friends with him means that it wasn't. No. But the problem is, how was it unwanted, and did he know that it was unwanted? Usually when we're talking about harassment, you would have told the person
to stop,
to stop at least some time. So and if it's just a he said, she said, and there's no evidence, it's hard because it would set a terrible precedent.
It's a shame she never spoke to anyone else at work about it. Yeah.
Listen, people, if you're going through things, even if it's a
Tell
little thing, tell
someone.
somebody,
Please.
write it down, send it to
Yeah.
like, do something just so it can be clear that this thing actually happening, even if you don't think you're going to take it forward, especially when it comes to sexual harassment. Tell somebody and tell them you don't want to take it forward, because a lot of the time, obviously most of the time they'll appreciate that, but then when something else happens with that person, you've already got it in writing that this is not a one-off.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to talk to you about something.
Oh, okay.
So I've been reflecting in recent months, and I'm not sure if I've mentioned it on the pod, but I think we need a new way to manage sickness absence.
Okay, tell me more.
I don't know how, but I just know we need a new way, because I always end up going round and round and round in circles when it comes to sickness absence. So somebody's off sick.
Mm-hmm.
They need time off.
Yeah.
They take time off to recover.
Yep.
They come back to work.
Mm-hmm.
They have taken some time off.
Mm-hmm.
They get sick again. They need time off.
Mm-hmm.
We want them to get better. They want to get better. They take the time off. Then we get to a place where it's like, well, you've had too much time off now.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, I've been sick and you don't want me to work while I'm sick because I want to do good work and you want me to recover. But it's like we're penalizing people for taking time off sick, but we also don't want them to come to work or be working when they're sick.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't think we have a good way of managing it. So if it's long-term sick, I think it's a little bit different. But like, even if someone's a little bit unwell and they have persistent, let's say even they have like endometriosis, yeah, that person may need time off.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're saying we want to support you, but then when you're calling in sick, it's becoming a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, how do we make that any better? Because they'll just keep losing their jobs, or we'll just keep going to tribunal, all of this kind of stuff. But you're sick, so you need time off, and then we penalize you for taking time off. Like, I just don't think that's the way to do it. But I don't know how is the way to do it. Obviously, you can take a supportive approach, think about ways that the company can help you to mitigate that. Sometimes it's nothing to do with your work. So it's like, yeah, I'm just struggling with we need a better way of managing sickness absence. I don't know how.
Yeah, I don't know how. I'm just thinking of the different types of absences that are like not long term. They're the most difficult ones because you are like in and out, and you don't want. I don't know you.
And a lot of them could be related to something, but if it's
Yeah.
related to something that's not a disability, then you're not really protected. So I just think penalizing someone for taking time off sick when they were actually sick is bad.
This is where, like,
Like, don't get sick. That's how you save your job.
sickness absent policies I find really interesting in different companies. Like, I would love to see the data on if a company has like 1 week paid and nothing else versus the companies that have really
People take off less time.
yeah.
I think what people
But then are they taking, what I want to know is, are they taking off less time because actually they've used their judgment and they don't need any time off? Or is it, do you know, I need the money, so I have to come in? Or versus the people that, you know, are they really taking it because this is the amount of time they needed and they're blessed with it being paid? Or they're taking the piss because this policy exists?
So definitely been studies, like there's companies that don't, you know, like statutory sick pay, the first 3 days are not paid. Mm-hmm. There's companies that do that. So if you call in sick, your first, 2 days or something won't be paid. And then that way you see people calling in sick less because they know that the calling in sick for 1 day that you would have done to feel better is irrelevant. It's not worth it because you lose money. Mm-hmm. Then when you get to the point where you're so sick that you have to call in sick for 3 days, you probably are sick. But the 1 and 2 day sicknesses, those are the ones where you might just call in sick because it's convenient for you or you don't want to go to work. But over and above that, you're probably sick. So it's like, does it work? It does work because you can see like there is evidence to say that when you don't pay sick, you get less people off sick. But again, are they still sick but just working? And is it possible that people are not coming back to work as fast as they could when they have generous sick policies? Yeah, probably. Yeah,
because just thinking about it, so Workday had 26 weeks full pay sick.
That's 6 months.
6 months, yeah.
Yeah.
And what often happened, which was difficult as somebody in ER, is people would use that sick leave if they were going through like a negotiation or they were put on a performance plan, boom, sick straight away. And they knew that because they would be paid being off, it's like we're either going to have to negotiate with them so that they're not being paid and then try to negotiate, or you just leave them off sick. and like it becomes a big,
it'll impact the team.
it becomes a massive frustration internally for like the manager, for HR, for the person involved. Like it's so
I've been involved in those, and it's just like and then it's all just like a funny dance until you get to that without prejudice conversation.
Because as an employee, I love that. Even like where I am now, I think it's 4 months full pay sick, which is amazing. Touch wood that I never need to do that, but it's amazing. But as a HR person, knowing that that policy exists, like it's not good. It's not good. It's frustrating. Yeah,
and I see it all the time
because
like,
people use it when they're on a PIP.
They use it when they're on a PIP. They use it if they're having a dispute.
Yeah,
like in the public sector, it's rife. Like I'm upset with my manager. I'm
going off sick. Yeah, and no, they won't go off sick for 1 week, 2 weeks. They're going for months.
It depends how much sick leave you have. And obviously,
that's what I'm saying. It's the generous ones.
It's very easy to get an NHS sick note. I'll probably call. Well, not on today because it's the weekend, but I can call on the day and be like, "Oh, I'm stressed. I need time off," and they'll just sign me off.
100%.
Have you seen a sickness say work related stress and you know the person barely works? Those piss me off. It's like, what are you stressed about? Like, you barely work.
Honestly.
But there has to be a new way, and I don't know what it is, but there has to be a new way of managing sickness absence. Because what we have now, it makes me feel bad. Like sometimes, because I was looking at some sickness absence recently, some reports, and I was like, this person is sick. Like they have a recurring thing. That's why it keeps coming up. But obviously they still have work to do. They still have a team relying on them to deliver things.
I think with the people with reoccurring sickness, there just has to be a contingent plan in place with that team, with that manager of, okay, what to do when this person's out. Because at this point, it's a disability and there needs to be reasonable accommodations for them, but also for the team that's going to take on that work. But then if it's seen like that, it's like, okay, that person won't necessarily feel guilty for being off because they know that it's being taken care of.
Do you want them to feel guilty?
No. Yeah. And then the team that's taken on the work, okay, there's a contingent plan. There might be something on rotation. The manager steps in a bit more. Do you know what I mean? But there's just something in place to show care on both sides so that person can just say, do you know what? I am having a sickle cell crisis, or I am having endometriosis pains today and I cannot do my job. But I think it's the lack of planning when you already know somebody has a reoccurring sickness. Why do you not have any plan?
What about if someone's just a bit sickly, so they have coughs and colds and things that make themselves not feel
a weak immune system?
Yeah, like just in general, some people have a lot of coughs and colds. I've got a headache 2 days here. 3 weeks later, I've got period pain 2 days here.
If it's not a headache and it's just flu and cold, you better work from home.
I don't believe people should work when they're ill.
Nah, if you just got a cough or flu, just work from home.
The flu could take you out, you know.
Okay, not flu, but a cold.
A cold.
Yeah, a cold. Just work from home because with a cold, it's just you're okay. Just don't come and cough on everyone at work. So just stay at home.
Yeah, but it just feels like a stupid thing. It just feels silly, like the way we manage it. It's like you need time off, but then we punish you for taking time off.
Yeah, it's not good. Yeah.
I've got a dilemma.
But this is why working from home and flexibility is important, because you will get more people who will work. It's not necessarily a good thing, but they may like work from home instead of calling in sick because they have enough strength to maybe not get on a train or a bus.
No, it's valid.
But I can work from my bed today and that's fine. And you can snatch that away. Like, of course your sickness is going to go up. Anyway, we move on. Dilemma. Oh.
And I love you. Oh.
People are going to be like, are they going to do this every week?
Nelly, I love you.
He's coming here actually with Fat Joe and
Ashanti and the baby.
No, Ashanti's doing a tour with Sean Paul, like a separate one.
Did they ever do anything together?
No.
Oh, she's opening or he's opening. Who's
Ashanti's doing one with Sean Paul, her own concert, and then Nelly's coming with Fat Joe, Fabulous and Genuine, I think. Yeah. I'm not going to those before you say I didn't invite you.
I'm not even asking. See where you've
I'm not going.
You've broken me down so much that I'm not even interested in asking anymore.
See dramatics.
Okay. Hi both. Wow. The way should I start?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Wow. Okay. Hi both. Wow. The way my life is a roller coaster. I changed organizations from one public sector to another. I thought, yes, fresh start, keep my head down. Applied for a training program and lo and behold, they want me to do some of the hours in my own time. Met with one of my counterparts for the same organization from different teams, and well, they are getting paid full-time. What? Oh, okay. Met with one of my counterparts from the same organization from different teams, and well, they are getting paid time off. So I think to do their study. So I really went from being bullied in one to discriminated in another. Being black is really not for the weak. I honestly love your podcast so much, and I've learned so much. I know that you are both ethical HR professionals. I was really wishing you guys worked in my organization.
Oh,
cute. The way I'm shaking in my boots to raise a grievance is mad, because HR will probably gaslight me, and again another relationship with an employer damaged, and I'll have to find a new job. And who could even be bothered to take it to employment tribunal, which will probably happen in 2028. There's not many public sector organizations I can move to within my city. It's as if God is placing me in these situations to be the voice of change. The culture within my team is toxic, so I'm already expecting to be monitored more and potentially bullied. I'm experiencing interrupted sleep, anxiety, fear of reprisal. I can't believe I'm experiencing workplace issues again. I just feel all of these laws are a farce because organizations don't want to follow them. Then when individuals like me raise issues, they traumatize them and push them out. I know you guys don't give advice. I don't even know why I'm writing this. Maybe I'm looking for validation. I don't know. Not expecting to hear back, but it would honestly be a light in this darkness. We give advice all the time.
we really do.
Listen to the podcast more. That's the first piece of advice. For context, this person has previously written into us. They had some public sector troubles, and we read a dilemma from them before, just so you're aware. They said they're happy to share that context.
So we give advice.
Yeah. Maybe they didn't catch that episode. Okay, so she's moved to a different public sector organization. She's met somebody now who's being also doing some training, but their training is being...
They get PTO.
Pardon?
Is that what she said? They get PTO to do the training, paid time off.
Oh my God, PTO, you're so American.
Sorry.
I was like, what is PTO?
Sorry.
PTO, paid time off, yeah. But they get some sort of, paid time off to do a study, and she doesn't. So she feels like she's being discriminated against.
Because she's been told to do it in her own hours.
Yeah, she's been told to do it in her own hours. But again... I'm always like, is that just like it's a jump, and it might be because of your own experiences that it feels that way. And I'm not saying that it's not. I'm jumping in my.
As I get more comfortable with being in my 30s, I'm jumping in my millennial bag, and I'm gonna say that it's not good that one person is getting PTO to do the training and you're not. But also, like, I remember in my day, when I was doing my CIPD, I was using work's time, but they didn't know.
Yeah.
And so a lot of it was in my own time. So I don't think that's necessarily the issue, or that shouldn't be the issue. The issue should just be that you and your peer or colleague are being treated the same way. But then just ask, just say, can I take PTO? Because PTO is paid time off, which is what she called it. So that means that person is using holiday in some sort of capacity, or days off that have been agreed. So if at that point you are not agreed the same paid time off, that's when you need to dig deeper and potentially raise a complaint. But I think you need to get all your ducks in a row.
Get the facts. That's what I was going to say. And she said, it says here, the culture of my team is toxic, so I'm already expecting to be monitored more and potentially bullied. So that's a separate issue to the study leave stuff. And here it says that she's thinking she doesn't have the energy to raise a grievance. But it's like, grievance is like, I feel like that's like 4 steps over there. I think for now, we're not there yet. For now, just say you'd like to have paid time off if you want to, if you feel you need to. Say, look, I've spoken to such and such. I know that they have paid time off, and I wondered if we can be put on the same agreement or whatever it is. For all you know, like he might be signing something to lock himself into the organization for a certain amount of time. You don't have the full facts, and maybe you do because you've spoken to that individual. But if you're aggrieved about it, just go and speak to somebody first and say, look, this is what's going on. I'm feeling really unhappy about it. This is the reason why. Would it be possible to do X, Y, and Z rather than just jump into a grievance? And as you said, like, having the relationship breakdown, because that can happen in a grievance. When we, I think on an episode, I can't remember, like a few episodes ago, I spoke about how taking your, raising a grievance against your manager, it's possible that it won't end well, because if it's upheld, then your manager might be upset that it's been upheld. And if it's not upheld, your manager might feel like, yes, see, I told you were lying. And somebody on TikTok who also does HR content said that they didn't agree, in that there are times when, you know, those sorts of meetings can turn out quite well.
Yeah.
And I do agree, like, it does happen, but I do think in the vast majority of cases, people are going to have some sort of ill will towards the person who raised a grievance about them, or the person they feel they had to raise a grievance about.
Agreed.
It's just how it is. So yeah, I would wait, because I do think raising a grievance can damage the relationship that you have with the person further. So if you don't need to, why would you? I would just try to get some more information and find out, am I actually being discriminated against? What's the reason for this? What's the reason for that?
Agreed. Ducks in a row, honey.
Yeah. But you can write to us for advice anytime.
Yeah.
We'll answer. It might take us a while, but we will answer always.
But if you listen to all the episodes, you're going to catch your dilemma.
You will. Especially
now we're doing one every week.
Yeah, we are doing one every week. So, and if you have one,
you can write in at
dilemmas@everybodyhateshrpod.co.uk, or you can submit it on our website.
Look at that.
Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff.
That's a wrap, guys. Bye.